poached employees from Mar-a-Lago. He stole her from me. It's a very different type of language. When you watch the documentary, you will understand the language. These people could say whatever they want to publicly, but somebody lying. They know exactly what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. When I tell you, if these was brothers, if these was black men, if these was wealthy black men, poor black men, if these was low income white men, middle income white men, all of them would be in jail. All of them would be in jail. But because of money, power, status, and access, this thing has gone completely different. And it is crazy to see that the Epstein case is on Donald Trump's heels right now. But let me stop for a second because y'all can already tell this one, when folks say I'm full, this one had me on 10 yesterday. But let me say good morning to Debo. Hey, bro, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Michelle. How about yourself?
Man, it's all I can do to hang on today. Right. I'm in there though. But you good?
I'm elated to just be here amongst the land of the living. It has certainly been my pleasure to be here with you this morning and every morning that you grace us with your presence.
Really?
Ecstatic.
Don't it sound like you standing up in front of the church?
Ecstatic for the opportunity to be here with you again on this morning.
Yeah, you just get up my nerves. Okay. Thank you, Debo. Hey, Clark, how you doing this morning, bro? Look, it's just depending on Clark to be regular.
I want to hear Jermaine's vocabulary.
You don't want to hear none of that. You don't want to hear none of that. Ooh, I can't wait for his little departure. When you leaving town?
He talking about he going on vacation. No, we getting a vacation.
Oh, thank you. Everybody getting a vacation.
I ain't never leaving y'all. Ever.
Why you said I like Ike Turner?
Right. You gonna take these punches.
You stood up on your tiptoes. Why you said it like Ike Turner?
You're never leaving me, woman.
Don't want that kind of love. Don't need that. Don't need that kind of love. Jay,
yes,
how you
ma'am.
doing this morning, bro?
Well, woman.
Can't help yourself.
Yeah,
it's like in your DNA now.
Yeah, it's just in me.
Just,
well, woman. Actually, I'm doing great. But
how do you talk to your folks at the house?
Yeah, I say,
that's why you're home alone.
Right. Well, woman, fix me a pie.
Fix me a pie. Rhonda.
Fix me a pie, woman.
Rhonda. Because I ain't fixing no pies. Rhonda.
Actually, I'm doing good, but I got a question for Debo. Debo?
Oh boy.
My question to you is, what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Not much. Not big on ice cream.
What you say? They ain't really all of that. They not that good.
What would you do?
And I think that I remember when those commercials used to run, we would be at the house like nothing. Like, do black people eat Klondike bars? Leave it to me to make it right.
Oh man, right.
Do black people eat Klondike bars?
Sound like Keith. Now everything come back to slavery.
As long as we all on the same page. Well, good. I'm glad you brothers are good. Yes, y'all, just keep your patience. Jermaine's vacation.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Speaking of vacation, since we talking about
we ain't talking about it.
Oh, we ain't talking about it?
We ain't talking about it.
Happiness Donut said, no, we ate Eskimo pie. And we did.
That's so true. Well, I didn't eat them. Did that have marshmallow in it or something? Yeah, I didn't eat those.
Really?
Those was nasty.
The yellow one, man. The
yellow one they said was moon pie.
Yeah, that was the moon pie.
Yeah.
I hate a moon pie.
Like, I don't know how people just bit into a big
man, it was like a big sponge with sweet stuff in the middle.
I never got that.
Beware, Miami, he's coming, y'all.
Somebody said apparently Jermaine eats them.
I just need to know what you would do for a Klondike bar.
They said Jermaine. Oh, he did go to school. Where you go to school?
Right. That explains a lot.
Hey.
And prior to that, he was in Tulsa.
Yeah.
You
But I got kicked
you
out.
did
of
go to
Tulsa.
alternative school situations.
Yeah, I got kicked out.
You throw that around like you proud. You
Yeah,
got
man,
kicked
I
out.
am. Man.
proud.
I
He
stand,
is
You know, I
proud.
stand 10 toes down, feet sideways when I say I
He's
got kicked out
proud.
of
Can I
Tulsa.
tell you a little secret?
You got kicked out too.
You kicked me out too. I just happened to go during the time when Roots was out,
Oh,
and as bad as it was
Stop,
for me,
stop blaming that over.
it was
about
Michelle.
you and your
Look,
behavior.
they called me Jigaboo,
yeah,
Beer
like
Guzzler,
we
and
had to
Porch
deal
Monkey. They would drop us off at the back of the building.
I do
Only
remember
10 of
that.
us on this little retarded bus, and I know we wasn't retarded.
Well, you was, but
Well, whatever. But
We don't
I mean,
say that
it was,
word
it
anymore.
I didn't
was,
say
it was
it.
not
We
a
don't
good
say that
time.
word
I didn't say it.
anymore.
I didn't
Oh, that's
say
right.
it.
That's right. That's not
That's
politically
right.
correct.
We don't
What's
use
the correct way to say
Dumb.
You know what?
Hey, red dum. Hey,
As,
little dum.
as
Is it-
I
is it-
transition away from both of y'all,
Is it special? Is it that boy touched?
I was like, oh, little dum.
As-
You heard
as
that
I-
one before, didn't you?
as
That
I
boy touched.
fly
Don't be
past
by the
both
spirit.
of y'all. Okay, ignoring them.
Dumb.
Back to what I was saying.
Dumb. There's something wrong with you.
So
That's what it was, Rama. Get your dumb
I hope somebody with decision-making authority is listening.
They be listening.
Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of both of
We
them.
all getting fired.
I'm sick. No, not we all.
Oh, just me and Debo.
Me and Clark will still be sitting here. Not we all. Me and Clark good. Swimming.
So it ain't we all when it
Super
comes to
clear.
that though.
Nah.
But everything else we stand together.
Hey,
Okay.
you gotta know when to,
Michelle, did you eat
Know
drumsticks?
when to hold them and fold them.
Debo, I'm not gonna start these ridiculous conversations with you.
Drumstick?
Hell no, I need no drumstick. I'm not giving. No, I don't eat them now. I ain't eat them then.
We talking about the ice cream.
Again,
Oh, the ice cream.
I am not getting ready to do this with y'all.
Why you don't eat drumsticks?
So as I was saying, I watched the Epstein documentary, and so I number one is perfect for the upcoming community brainstorming conferences topic that they have coming up this month. They are going to be talking about the issues that we are seeing that women are facing in our community: human trafficking, sexual abuse, violence against women. And while some people will be like, aren't we good? Aren't we in a better situation? Are these conversations still necessary, still relevant? When I was watching the Epstein documentary yesterday, number one, when you realize the face of who people put out there as the individuals involved in sex trafficking, human trafficking, when you look at how people take advantage of, target young people to get caught up in this foolishness. And I don't care, because all of the young girls involved in the videos that I saw yesterday were either white or maybe Latino, but predominantly white. Some from broken home situations, some were runaways, some were actually from real solid families. But these people honed in and targeted weaknesses or dangled things in front of these young girls to keep them complicit and or silent. And then when they realized the magnitude of the power that Jeffrey Epstein wielded, and when you begin to sit back and start connecting dots, there were so many aha moments when I was watching the documentary that you go, okay, so remember not that long ago, Jim Acosta was named the labor secretary under the Trump administration. Okay. Remember that? And then he had to resign 2 days after they started talking about the Epstein files, because he was a prosecuting attorney or the attorney general who decided not to go hard on Jeffrey Epstein. ended up doing a sweetheart deal in the first go round back in 2000. I think it was 16 9. I got to look at the year when Jeffrey Epstein was first brought up on solicitation of, prostitution with minors, even though people were like, you can't keep calling these minors prostitutes because they were not prostitutes. But the way they framed everything, they give Jeff Epstein a lenient sentence, 18 months in prison. He only does 13 months. He has Huber privileges. I said Huber privileges. So he leaves. He only comes to spend the night in jail. He's doing it at a county jail instead of a prison, even though you've been accused and found guilty of having sex with children. And then he is confined to 12 months home confinement after he's released. But in the documentary, they show private investigators document 62 different times that Jeffrey Epstein violated the conditions of his parole or probation. And they show him in New York. The cameraman says, "Hey, Jeff," and he looks up while he's out the house moving around like you're not on home confinement. And so people reach out to the PO for Jeffrey Epstein to say, "Hey, your boy out here all over kicking it like he does not have home confinement." And the PO says to the folks that's calling, "Well, what you want me to do? He a celebrity. What you want me to do about that?" Basically acknowledging this is bigger than me. I don't have the power to rein this dude in. And then they talk about when Jeff Epstein is released from prison or released from the terms of his probation, he throws a party in New York and everybody comes. And they show pedophile Woody Allen there, Alan Dershowitz, the lawyer, who some of the accusers said that they had sex with Alan Dershowitz, who's still prominently a part of Trump's inner circle right now. Like, y'all, all these people are connected. All of them are connected. And so the guy who goes easy on Epstein when he should have had the book thrown at his behind, he ends up back in Trump's first term being named the labor secretary. And then folks start, like going through the process to confirm him, and they start blazing him about how he handled the Epstein case. So he makes it through confirmation, but ultimately he has to resign. And you realize how intimately Donald Trump is involved in a lot of this stuff. Prince Andrew, the girl who ultimately committed suicide, they talk about the relationships and what they did and where they were, and they provide photos. When I tell y'all, it is crazy and it is sickening. And so now the DOJ under Pam Bondi, who is, having her own drama with the administration because Donald Trump has a woman sitting around him that's acting like, the female version of Elon Musk and trying to call shots and say who should be hired, who should be fired, who she doesn't like. She does not care for Pam Bondi. And so Pam Bondi is doing everything she can to hang on to her role as the attorney general. And so now, we're going to go after the Obama administration to see if they lied and conspired against Donald Trump in the 2016 elections. All of this is diversionary tactics to look away from the folks that's really the criminals and that have really done the dirt and have really done the most harm. But to see all these grown men who could have relations and relationships with just about any woman they wanted because they were so powerful, had so many, resources, women would have been chomping at the bit to mess with some of these men. They were going after children. Young 15, 16-year-old girls. recruiting dead from a high school. And when you read or you see the documentary on Ghislaine Maxwell, her relationship with her daddy was creepy, uber creepy. So when she hooks up with Jeff Epstein, it's not a stretch because you used to these lines and these boundaries. And thank you, Alexander Acosta, not Jim. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I knew that when I was saying it. And I was like, you're saying that wrong, Michelle. Thank you, Sarah. But y'all, like, we and I always think about Donald Trump talking about we need to drain the swamp. We got the grimiest, nastiest people in the world running our country right now. These people is some straight up damn pervs. And if they not perverted they self, they knew or they are aware that perversions was going on and they looking the other way. So I think about all these Christian nationalists, and I got to take a break, but all these folks that, waving the flag and we love America and mad because you won't sing the national anthem. Y'all slimy, disgusted people. And when you look at the backstory, you can begin to connect the dots. These people got to go. But the damage that they're going to do between now and the next election, oh, it's going to take us a long time to recover. We can recover if we do what we need to do. But make no mistake, and we got some grimy folks running this country right now. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. So, Bryant, the NOP, it's a real conversation. I'll be right back.
One.
Here's the updated forecast. We'll see areas of smoke at times here for today, otherwise sunny skies, high around 80 degrees. Winds at the east around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low near 66. By Wednesday, smoke again, sunny high 80 degrees. Thursday, sunshine high 85. By Friday, mostly sunny skies, high around 89 degrees. And meteorologist Jennifer Lee should see an AM 860, the voice.
Are you feeling summer? Then it's time to feel it easy with delicious berries. Feel great with Wisconsin's top exhibitors from Wilton to Horse Shows.
Get the Milwaukee County you know,
Join us for the 15th annual Bronx Family Week, a celebration of Milwaukee's rich African American culture. Bronx Family Week takes place Saturday, August 2nd through Saturday, August 9th. Saturday starts with a fun day 5K walk on Sunday, Bronzeville's cultural and art festival, and it ends with Bronzeville's art. Welcome to Milwaukee.org/Bronzeville for a complete list of events. Bronzeville Week is presented by Baltimore Polaris College, City of Milwaukee, Historic Icon Baby Parade, Visit Milwaukee, Rules Community Foundation, Walmart, and Banter. Eight sixty AM, 106.5 FM, WNOV, the voice. Now, with your
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. So I had to take just a couple of minutes to talk about this documentary that I think is apropos at this time, giving some insight into some of these players. And we hear this growing, surge in calls for Donald Trump to and the Trump administration to answer for some of the questions surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, Trump's role in that. The administration, has done a lot of ducking and dodging on the issue. And it's crazy because of all the things that Trump has done, that this is the thing that is grinding the gears of most of his supporters. And, you know, when we are quick to look the other way, because there are so many other pressing issues. God knows there are. But you just realize like some of these people are honestly depraved that are in positions of power and running this country. It's scandalous. And when you hear about what these girls were being made to do, and one police official who was investigating had talked to 42 different young girls who had all given very, very similar accounts of what had happened to them. So, you know, I understand why the Trump administration is trying to walk away from this or placating people and, oh, we're going to get the grand jury to release information. But anybody that understands the way some of that grand jury testimony works is that you're only getting a snapshot. You're not getting all the information that you honestly need to understand the totality of what's being alleged or is suspected in terms of Epstein, some of these high profile players, but whether it is Bill Clinton, who they show, kicking it with Epstein, again, some of the other high profile players that we've seen, the faces, the pictures, it's a lot of questions about these folks. And I go back to when there was all these accusations about Hillary Clinton running a child sex pornography ring. And remember, the crazy guy goes in and shoots up the pizza restaurant because they said the operation was being conducted downstairs in the bottom of the pizzeria. And I said, a lot of this is projection. You saying so and so messing with kids, but really you the one messing with kids. A lot of this is projection, y'all. And so I'm just saying we got to be careful. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Yeah, my thing on this here is that this money and power thing been around for a long time. Not only in the sex ring and stuff like that. That one young girl that got killed, and they believe her parents did it, or some years ago. Wherever there's money, there's going to be power, and wherever there's power, there's going to be corruption. And I believe that we, and then another thing. I remember I used to date a woman, and her mom used to tell her, "Use what you got to get what you want." And I think I always look at it as power in the P. Uh, um, Sex has always gotten people a man in trouble. People that lost kingdoms and stuff like that. My thing is that we talk about that, but then the biggest concerns to me is that focusing on why a dollar just lasts for 6 hours in the black community. We building our community up and doing things because these are distractions. And I truly believe that Trump could admit to this and he still won't lose his base, So I don't understand why I don't think he cares about that. And then I've seen documentaries where I think in China or Japan, where you got doctors, lawyers, people with money going over there because it's not illegal to have sex with underage people. It was a long time ago. It was a documentary on that, and then I guess the people were selling their kids at certain ages and stuff,
Right.
at ages that they can do this at one age. They can do this. It is crazy, but while our focus is on that, the real problems are still our inner city and the mindset and the education and the build. And every time we try to build something, somebody tears it down. So I don't know. I don't think that's never going to end because these people feel like they got certain privileges. And like you said, they're at club. They know what they're doing. And then what happens is when they get ready to try to take that person down, they punch the ticket, And then you got black people with money that don't want to get caught up in because they can come up with some scam, I believe, to tear them down, to make them, and just put a lie out there. People don't believe it. So it's screwed up and whatever. And I don't know which direction this Epstein thing is going in, but right today, somewhere, somebody is selling their body or doing things. Look at what happened to Shannon Sharp. $50 million, I guess. This woman got messed up his career and everything because of what? A certain part of a woman's anatomy. It's crazy, So I don't know what we're going to do, but I think I would like to see more of us focusing on how to change our community, to build it up, to educate, and I think that would deter a lot of things and open up other doors.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the call. Let me just say this. I think that we have the ability to do multiple things at one time. We know that this has been a decades old, I shouldn't say decades, age old, problem around how sex and how power get conflated and causes problems. Many people, their downfall has been, as you kind of alluded to, people not being able to control their pants, whether it's men or women. But the reality for me, and particularly somebody who comes out of child welfare, who comes out of situations where, adults have tried to take advantage of children, I think we got to be able to talk about and do both, because that culture that exists in that community, it also has existed in our community. We all know that uncle that everybody told the kids to stay away from, or they paid attention if so and so neighbor came in the house or around, the young kids at the barbecue. People was like, move them babies from over there, because they had been hearing things that were going on. So we got to be at a point where we can fight multiple fights on one front. We don't all have to be moving on the same issue at the same time. We got talented people with different skills. And so you handling child welfare, you're handling economic development. This group is focused on civic engagement, amassing political power. We get to do that. That's the way you function effectively as a unit. What are our strengths? You gonna do this, you gonna do this, you gonna do this. And we can, address many of the issues that we face. Speaking of the Shannon Sharp situation, a lot of people were talking about the fact that Shannon Sharp ultimately ended up being fired from ESPN, after this young woman that he had been, in a consensual relationship with, at some point accuses him of raping her. And he does pay a settlement. Now, how much was the settlement? The exact amount has not been released. But people, estimate upwards to $50 million. I'm like, damn, Shannon Sharp got $50 million. So I didn't think that number was like a real number. She asked for 50 million. I don't think that's definitely what she got. But either way, he had messed with this woman for 2 years, and ultimately ends up having her, make the allegation of rape. And so I guess, I'm kind of tripped out, because if I settle a situation with you, so like Diddy in his case, he settled with Cassie, okay? But then you still ended up getting criminal charges. So that one thing I'm asking in the back of my mind is, could Shannon even be facing criminal charges at some point, even though you paid her a settlement to make this go away? And I don't know, if you acknowledge guilt, or you just say, hey, look, I just want to be done with this. Take this money, leave me the heck alone. Or could he ultimately have an overzealous district attorney or someone who wants to make a name for themselves say, oh, you paid her, we're going to go after Shannon Sharp for rape? So that's one thing I'm actually paying attention to, because I don't know necessarily that this whole thing is over. Now, for folks that are like, dang, he lost his job with ESPN. So that podcast that Shannon Sharp does, Club Shay Shay, yeah, he generates $2 million like a month from that podcast. 2 million, because of the different types of sponsors, the views that he gets. It's a highly popular show. And no, I'm not saying it's the same thing as being on ESPN, but he does generate a whole bunch of money from doing that podcast. The thing, though, that is interesting, because I watch Club Shay Shay, and not, I'm not like dyed in the wool, but I do watch different episodes of Club Shay Shay. And I have walked away from many of his shows because people can reveal themselves to you without necessarily telling you straight on information about themselves. All you got to do is listen to what they say, pay attention to the topics that they broach, the way they respond to certain things that come up, and you can begin to kind of piece together a few things about people that they have not said, but you like, oh yeah, I see you. I have frequently looked at Shannon Sharp's shows and said, you got issues. I have done that plenty times. One of my friends, Dr. Myers, she loves Shannon Sharp. I love Sterling Sharp. She loves Shannon. And it's days that I would look at her after watching Club Shay Shay. I was like, he got issues. He got issues with women. He got issues with aging. You older and you keep running behind these 20-year-olds, and anybody that's now 58, 60, 65, if you have lived long enough, you already know where the head of a 20-year-old is. Not all 20-year-olds, there are exceptions to the rules, but that's not your equal. That's not your equal. That's not your equal physically. That's not your equal mentally. Frequently, that's not your equal financially. So what you over there for? Because you want some dumb stuff. You want some dumb stuff. You don't want to admit you getting older. And you messing with people that you shouldn't be messing with. You know, aging is a mug. I get it. And people want to be able to be as young and youthful as long as possible. And we surround ourselves with young people. We kick it. We adapt things that they doing. But it's a time and a place. And it was many days I would listen to Shannon Sharp talk, and I'll be like, when it come to women, boy, you got issues. You can hear it. It's some of his comments. So where he finds himself right now in terms of the ESPN situation and being out of a job, that wasn't no shock. That was no shock to me. Just because of the way you have carried yourself. None of that was a shock to me. We got to be careful how we talk about the language somebody brought somebody down. You bring your own self down. Didn't nobody put no gun to your head and make you sleep with nobody. When somebody shoot game at you, you don't have to respond. As I say all the time, pick better. Pick better. Stop messing with these clowns. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller. What's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
It's a lot of issues that we have to fight. And I've been to 2 community weekend meetings, and we need to really get our act together. And like you said, all of us have different talents. We can go in those different directions. But I hope and pray we don't have 5 or 6 people trying to run for governor and split the vote all over the place. I think the Black folks need to get together, the people of color, and put the most effective person in government to be the governor up there for Wisconsin. And I think Cavalier, and I know our county exec is qualified to do it, but sometimes it's just not the time. Whoever the governor is going to need people fighting and supporting him on the side. Just give it another season and support the person that we need to put all our efforts behind. Because if we don't, we're in serious trouble. And I don't know what's going on with our youth, but I do want to raise one point. Why all of a sudden is our downtown area such a critical problem, and they have all these issues, and it's been issues all along, and they haven't been shining the light on? Somebody's going after someone about the business downtown Milwaukee. No, it's not some things that's fair. And we need to start in our own homes. And the coaches teaching these young men that are making millions of dollars don't know what to do with them. Don't you know you're a walking target? You're a benefit package for somebody. Don't be a fool. Use leave that small head alone and use that brain that God gave you. Thank you. And we're better than this. God has equipped us, and that's why they're coming after us. So let's get it together. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. It is interesting that you brought up the governor's race in the Journal Sentinel this morning. There is an article, and it is titled, actually, Who's Running for Wisconsin Governor? Who has the best shot? And in answer to your questions. And 2 individuals, Molly Beck, who covers politics, definitely out of Madison State Capitol, Dan Bice, who Dr. Myers affectionately refers to as Messy Boots. He and Molly teamed up to answer some of the questions that had come in from readers of the Journal Sentinel about the governor's race. So let me just take a second since you brought it up. There is only one person who has formally, technically gotten into the race in terms of I guess, paperwork and what needs to be done in order to run for that position. And that is the sitting lieutenant governor, Sarah Rodriguez. But others have said that they are considering the bid or that they are promising to join the race soon. And the names they identified there: Attorney General Josh Call, Milwaukee County Executive David Crawley, former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, State Senator Kelda Royce. The field could also include names, according to this article, that we haven't heard before. Names like the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation Secretary and CEO Missy Hughes, Sheboygan Mayor Ryan Sorensen. The big question right now is this: where's Josh Call? He's the best known candidate in the Democratic field. This is according to Dan Bice, but he has not made clear whether he's going to run or not. The truth is, he hasn't acted like a gubernatorial candidate since he was elected in 2019. Again, opinion of Dan Bice. The only other possible candidate who has statewide ID is Barnes, who lost in 2022 to Ron Johnson. And so they weigh those things back and forth. Right now, and I'm surprised that Cavalier Johnson's name was not included in this discussion in the Journal Sentinel with Molly and Dan, but people are beginning to weigh those options to the point that the caller made. Trying to get out early to identify who people want to rally around is going to be interesting. I was aware of some conversations on yesterday in which folks were saying, well, so who is the Democratic Party going to support? So let me just tell you, formally, the Democratic Party will not support anybody in the primary, formally, on the Democratic side of the ticket. They will wait until we get to the general before you start throwing your weight around. But what can happen is that informally, the pathway gets cleared for candidates, which is what happened in that U.S. Senate race. Before we fully get the primary, the pathway begins to get cleared. Candidates get pressured to get out the race so that the preferred candidate of the Democratic Party can make it through the primary and then go on to the general election. That's informally. Nobody will admit to that out loud, but all you got to do is pay attention and you see what happens. So right now, it seems like most likely that if there are two African-American men in the race for governor, one will be David Crawley and potentially Mandela Barnes. I think Mandela Barnes got a better shot at getting in this race than the mayor, Cavalier Johnson. But the other factor is going to be where the money lines up, because you can't win this race without money. You just can't. And so if the money people have decided that Crawley is their guy, there will be other folks that are paying attention that will not get in the race because they realize you're not going to be able to come up with the money to be competitive. So what we need to do, and so people have already been calling, so what you think, who you supporting, where are we going? And I'm like, y'all need to wait to see everybody that's going to announce that they're getting in. B, to the extent that's possible, you got to figure out where this money gonna line up at, because it was money that was effective in the county executive race that David Crawley won. When you look at the kind of resources that former Milwaukee County Executive Chris Abley put into that race. Now, he was no Chris Larson fan, nor am I, in terms of him having been the county executive. But you can't discount the difference or the advantage or the impact of somebody putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into a race. So we're going to have to follow the money. That's going to be real telling about, where people lean. That money does not necessarily mean that's who the Democratic Party supports. It means that's who folks with money support. Be clear on that. It could be two very different candidates. Who the people with money support and the people with money that's willing to play in this race versus who the party supports. Let me go to the phone line. I see I got a caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. This is Angela.
Hey, Angela, good morning.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed. Thank you. Thanking the Lord that I woke up this morning.
All right.
So, Michelle, did you say? Did I hear you say that David Crowley is? I mean, Mandela Barnes got a better shoe in than David Crowley. Did you say something in that sense?
I said Mandela Barnes has a better shot of getting into the race probably than Cavalier Johnson. That's what
Oh,
I
oh,
said about who
oh,
would get in, not who
oh,
would win, but they're
oh,
trying to speculate what other people are going to come into the race.
oh. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, because I was walking away and I was listening, but I
Okay.
just had to ask that question.
That's fine.
Okay. So
Okay.
how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing? All right, that's good. Well, you all have a good day and carry on. I mean, not like that, but you know what I mean.
Look, now I'm gonna take the marching orders. I'm gonna carry on. I appreciate you. Thank you for that permission.
All right, Michelle.
All
Have a
right
blessed
now,
day.
take it easy. What she
Yes,
say?
ma'am.
Carry on, carry on. So yeah, y'all. So that's why I said just hold tight for a minute so you can figure out who all is gonna get in this race. It could be a situation where you got two brothers in the race, and so if you did get Mandela and David in the race, what do we do? Um, as soon as folks don't vote, or most black folks don't vote for either one of them brothers. What do? You have the ability to split the black population in terms of the race. So Tommy Thompson, no, what Tommy Thompson said. Tommy Thompson, what? Tommy Thompson
He
crazy,
said,
and
depending on what the field looks like, we're gonna run.
he a fool. And let me be clear, he is a whole fool. These people don't go sit down. That's all they have done is in their DNA, and they don't know how to go sit down. Ain't nobody voting for Tommy Thompson. Fine, here's some free, and I charge well for my consultation as a political, director, advisor, consultant. Don't do it. You and Scott Walker, who had teased it up, he went somewhere and sat down. Tom, go somewhere and sit down. Ain't no Republicans vote. I'm just telling you that right now.
Hey,
Yes.
I just saw a fake straw poll that actually had Bill Martin do the favor if he was to put his name in.
Will Martin, who does our radio,
Yeah,
Will
I'll show
Martin,
it to you. Yeah, I'll show it to you.
a straw poll. Who's in the poll? 17 people?
It was,
Yeah, get the poll. Because I want to know who. Say what?
yeah,
On a statewide level, I be messed up. Who know Will Martin like that? That's BS. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Will Martin is not known on a statewide basis like that. Let me see this. It's some nonsense. Oh, this is state fair. It's not state fair. Straw poll for governor. Eric Hovey, 36. So what's the last like 100 people, 50 people. Eric Hovey, 36. Will Martin, 22. Tom Tiffany, 19. Josh Showman, 14. Bill Barron, 3. Julian Bradley, 2. That's the sitting Black Republican senator. Tim Raffin, 1. Eric Koskowski, 0. Yeah, Tim over there. Yeah, I don't know who did that, but I don't believe it. I don't, I don't believe none of that. Let me go, let me go to break. I'll be right back.
Ovi, the voice.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So let me make sure I make this announcement. I talked about yesterday, played the clip from Jamal Bryant, what we give our kids in preparation for school, for life, setting these kids up to not just have more than what we had as adults and parents, but also that they have some sense of responsibility to the community and the folks around them. But to make sure that these kids are getting off to the best possible start, I wanted to make you aware of a couple of back to school events that are happening. So over in Alderman Lamont Westmoreland's district, he is inviting families to attend the fourth annual Back to School Bash, which is happening this Thursday on August 7th from 3 to 6 p.m. It is happening over at WellPoint Care Network, the old St. Emilion Lakeside, which is 8901 West Capitol Drive. Should it rain on Thursday, they're going to do it on Friday, August 8th. But this event will offer free backpacks, school supplies, community resources, even going to have some food for children and families preparing for the school year. This is a free family event, family friendly event, connecting Milwaukee residents to valuable resources. No pre registration is required. The backpacks are limited and will be given out on a first come, first served basis. And children do need to be with the parent in order to receive a backpack. Children do need to be present in order to get a backpack. So there are a number of sponsors that have helped to bring this together. I don't have that sponsor list in front of me, but just so people are aware that there is going to be this event happening this Thursday, 3 to 6 p.m., 8901 West Capitol Drive. That is Alderman Lamont Westmoreland. And then the Milwaukee County exec, in his newsletter that comes out, and I have to find it because I know we mentioned the King back to school event over at the King Center. Let me look for that one. I also just received one, and this one connected to our boy Keon Jackson Malone, our brother gone too soon, but a number of groups have come together. Dream Team United Wisconsin, the Village Group, which Keon's sister Tyra and the family now run, JK 4K, Milwaukee Parks Foundation, and HKBT, which is helping kids better themselves organization. They are hosting a neighborhood family fellowship in honor of Keon Jackson Malone. This is happening this Saturday over at Atkinson Park, 936 West Atkinson Avenue. There will be free groceries, free face painting, a cookout, horse rides, community resource vendors, and much, much more. A number of sponsors have come to the table to help make this happen. You all know how Keon felt about Atkinson Park and the people in the Atkinson Park, community. So if you want information about that, I do have a flyer available. Happy to email that flyer to you. Thank you, Tyra, for sending that over. I will find the information on the King Center's, Dr. Martin Luther King Center's book bag giveaway over there and get that for you. But I just wanted to flag that some of those things are beginning to happen. So folks are doing what they can to either help get their kids ready or make sure that other children in the neighborhood that may need these services are aware that they are taking place. All right. And then let me just say this, because back on this the straw poll out of State Fair and Will Martin. So the question was posed to me: didn't Will Martin run for office before? And I had to go look it up because I knew he had, but I was just trying to remember all the backstory. So in 2022, Will Martin ran for lieutenant governor, statewide seat, and in that primary, he finished fifth with about 54,000 votes. So uh, he did run for statewide office before. So he would not be new to potentially running for statewide office. But again, I found that straw poll real interesting. I'm just gonna say that. Something that yesterday had me on fire, hot. I had a whole Keith Paris moment when he said this girl go from 0 to 12 in 4 seconds or whatever he said. So there is a campaign going on right now to hire people to come work for ICE. Okay, that's the Immigration Enforcement Division of the federal government. Do y'all know how much they are offering these people as bonus money for signing up to work for ICE, the immigration services? Do y'all know how much money? Do y'all know how much money? $50,000 as a sign-on bonus if these people agree to come work for ICE. They also are offering to pay off student loan debt for anyone coming to work for ICE. So let me be clear. Because with this budget that was just signed, you got now a boatload of money where we cutting money from all these other social service safety net programs. Money has been diverted to ICE, to the build a wall, to the military. ICE has more money than they've ever had. And what Trump and his folks are doing is saying that they want to hire 10,000 new ICE agents. Okay? They want to hire 10,000 new ICE agents. So one of the incentives is to give people a $50,000 signing bonus. When I tell you that is crazy, that the United States government would be positioned to give anybody $50,000 as a sign-on bonus, that's madness. But this is all in furtherance of, somebody said, all I know is ICE is getting more money funding than all the U.S. military combined, all the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Like, this is madness, y'all, that these kinds of dollars and resources would be funneled to this agency. And I ain't trying to be messed up. But also, because it always comes back to race for me, look at the majority of people that's the ICE officers. I ain't saying nobody intentionally discriminating, but what?
I was about to ask you, is there such thing as an African American ICE officer?
I think I saw one in all of the busted raids and videos that they've been doing. I might have seen one.
Do you think that this could be Trump's personal army?
I think that it could be Trump's personal army.
Yeah.
And an army of white boys working for ICE.
And on top of that,
if they don't believe in DEI, they don't believe in giving people opportunities, I'm sure not about to get no black man no $50,000 sign-on bonus.
But you know what? Man, I'm going to actually give you a whole different look at that. With the ISIS and the people that's in uniforms and you can't see their faces and they covered up, this can also be a way that they could start kidnapping people, and there's nobody been held accountable.
They already snatching people.
They already snatching people.
We
You
ain't
don't
gotta
know
get
who's
we ain't
who.
gotta get started.
So you
They
don't know
already
who's
been
who.
snatching people
Yeah.
off the streets, out of buildings. People coming in for immigration appointments that are legitimately here.
Mhm.
There are definitely people being snatched.
And there's no real way to really identify if you are an ICE agent or not. You can have on an outfit and you can snatch a person and they will never be seen again.
Yeah, and some of these folks don't even they're in plain clothes. They're not
They're
even
plain clothes.
in ICE,
And there's no
identified
ID
gear.
like saying ICE or anything
Yeah.
like that. They just popping up on you.
And so, I've been hearing some crazy stories about some young people who have, been in the country, brought here as children, but they've done everything they were supposed to do. They checking in, they applying for citizenship on their own, and these young people are being snatched up by ICE. And people are like, but why are you messing with them? They're doing everything they're supposed to. They have court dates coming up. There's no reason that you should be engaging these people. And ICE is taking them, and some of these young people are still in custody. But the idea, and think of, no educational requirements on these people. So you got some yahoos that's just like not doing a whole lot of nothing and don't have, a life that's necessarily going anywhere. And you get to come and be an ICE agent, $50,000 sign-on bonus. Like, so what's the screening process?
I was just about to say that because you don't know if these people are racist. You don't know if they have some type of underlying motive for these people that they're going after. And you just pretty much giving them free will to just snatch a person, pretty much do what they want to that person while they're in their custody. And then,
man, I don't trust it for 5 seconds. Like I said, I don't see a ton of black ICE workers. Yeah. And because you got an administration that does not support diversity in hiring, I'm just feeling like you got to know a little KKK militia on its way of being created. Somebody said typical Klan requirements, uneducated. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Now listen, to sign up for an ICE thing. Now there is some prohibition for felons signing up, but they do have a position for felons as well. You won't be able to carry a firearm that, but they have a place for you. Let me tell you something. It ain't against me. White boys running around here, and far as the mask and all that stuff, I'm totally against that. But remember, the jump out boys, they've been jumping out for years. They've been jumping out for years. Man, the jump out boys ain't the mask on, brother.
No. The when Blondie and them used to jump out on us.
No, we ain't talking about Blondie and them. We not
those
talking
are the
about
jump out
Blondie.
boys. Those are the jump out cats.
Okay. Can I say this, brother? The jump out boys came years later. Blondie and them that's a whole different. That was a whole different deal right there. They would branch off from the DEA that they lived downtown. So they went with the DEA type. These jump out boys and guys that jump out the Jeep man with the things.
Yeah, they would be plain clothes and jump out of the car with no mask on and nothing. You would see their face. They were plain clothes cats.
Okay, brother, I think you should go ahead and check that out. We're not gonna fight about it.
Yeah, we ain't gonna fight about it.
Just check it out.
All right, so go ahead and make your point.
Okay. My thing was with the ICE agents. There's not only whites in there, there's Latino people that's doing this. Remember, most of your border agents are of a Mexican descent, but because they speak Spanish. But this ain't just about Mexicans. They sent 7,000 of them Indian people with them rags on their head back about 2 months ago. They was up to 7,000. They probably up to more than that now. But the Indian folk got to go back. Listen, there's a thing to conquer this country. Don't y'all get that part? Now y'all can sit around here and raise the fist
up. We keep going down this road. Okay.
We know you keep bringing it up.
At this point, I'm talking about who's working for ICE. That's what I'm talking about.
And that's what I'm
talking about the fact that it is unethical to be offering $50,000 in government employ to be able to bring people on board. That we have taken money from other critically important services to be able to do this nonsense.
But do we know that for sure? What if
Of
it's
course we
wrong,
know
though?
that because it was in the budget that
But
just got
okay,
passed and
but did
rushed
that come?
through so that he could sign it on the 4th of July. Like that's some great big symbolism.
Well, let me say this to you: when Cesar Chavez was working for the rights to work people, the workers' rights, trying to stop all the illegal immigration, and he was a Spanish person, right? Now listen to this: Cesar Chavez. People don't know his real story, but he actually postured up and got militias himself to fight back them.
But Meech, I'm not having that conversation. I'm not having that
But let's do,
conversation.
if you're gonna dive into it, dive into
No,
it. All right.
no, I'm
So why
okay
not
with
get
that,
the
but I'm not.
50,000?
But the thing that you do that I just
Well,
don't
let's get
have
the.
the patience
Would
for
you go for the
today
50,000?
is to divert away from the issues that's on the table. So if you want to say something about the issues
Yeah,
on the
that's easy.
table, then do that. We talking about ICE hiring and whether or not they should be getting $50,000 sign-on bonuses.
Well, let me say this to you. Would you go for the 50,000?
I would not.
Why not? We got felons that can sign up for that, but they can't. They cannot. They will prohibit them from firearm use.
Well, I'm not a felon, so that ain't my issue.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, it's brothers and sisters that need that money, man.
Okay.
Go and get that 50,000, y'all.
Well,
Go and get that 50G, man.
Thank you, Meech. I appreciate it. No, you know what you say, Jay?
I was gonna say I was listening to them say that fellas can sign up as an ICE agent, but you can't carry a gun. So you mean to tell me you going into a situation that one, people are scared, they don't know what's gonna happen, they don't know who's who and what's what. Something is gonna happen that these people are gonna eventually start fighting back. And just so happens somebody say I'm not going and they start shooting and you a felon with no gun. What you gonna do? You just gonna like what you gonna do? How you gonna defend yourself? How are you going to protect yourself if you trying to arrest somebody and they get to shooting at you and you have no weapon?
And I'm looking too because I hadn't seen anything saying that you could actually have a felony record and work for ICE. Typically, you cannot be in a situation that you have a felony record and work for ICE. So I'm not, before I even run with that, I need to verify it because I have not seen that anywhere at this point.
Well, Shell, when you have the commander in chief with 34 felonies.
Well, and that's why I said typically. That's why, and this is Trump's ball game.
Yeah.
Rules get changed every day. People are like, it's law enforcement and it's da-da-da. And I appreciate that. But again, we got a DOJ that just turned around and gave a $5 million settlement to the family of a woman who was breaking the law and committing crimes and trying to kill and harm members of Congress. So, yeah, I don't feel confident no more in 100% saying, oh, no, it's the law. Because what these people give a damn about the law don't mean nothing no more. So, I mean, I hear my people that's hitting me up like, no, you can't. But I think we are all now learning not to put nothing past the Trump administration. Yeah. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the Reverend Dr. Andrew Ward.
Yes, sir.
I missed you yesterday, and one of the reasons I missed you was because you let your Republican brother take up all of the time. Oh, and I told Harris yesterday, just because somebody like your president tells a lie louder and over does not make it the truth. And these ICE people, I don't think they've been vetted, and I think it's legal to shoot somebody if they come up on you and you don't know who they are. But that's not happening. It's not happening enough yet. I had a question too. This police officer who got killed, did he have on his vest? I know those vests are not. He was shot with a heavy gun, but I don't know if he had his vest or he was shot in his vest.
Yes, he did have his vest on. I seen it on the news. They said, man, that the bullet went through his arm and through his side cavity.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wondered if he had been trying to divest with other help. I know the invest on uh, uh, don't work for every caliber, and I
Yeah,
know this shooter had a big gun.
yeah, yeah. They don't have on full body armor suits. They just have on
I know
vests.
they're vulnerable side, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And y'all have a good one.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the call. Let me go to the next caller, and then I got to take a quick break. Hey, caller, what's happening?
How you doing this morning?
I'm all right. How you doing, bro?
Pretty good. How come y'all didn't ask me would he sign up for the 50,000?
Well,
He always talking about everything but the point. So let's just make a point. Why don't you ask him to sign up for the 50 grand?
fair enough.
All right.
All
Thank you.
right, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Sweet and to the point. You said
Right.
all right, y'all. Let me take a break. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I love y'all.
And are California lawmakers are considering a bill that would require cities and counties to track every black hire for the descendants of people enslaved in the United States. Starting in 2027, reforms would offer three options for descendants of U.S. slavery, one for black employees who are not descendants, such as African and Caribbean lineages, and one for those who don't know or Dakota ancestors. For the same change would finally bring visibility to more than 2 million Californians lineage ties back to U.S. slavery. Until they say on local government data, the measure follows state level and stems from a recommendation by California's reparations task force. It would apply to all cities and counties, including charter jurisdictions, and could be reimbursed by the state if declared unlawful. For a
Here's the updated forecast. We'll see areas of smoke at times here for today. Otherwise, sunny skies high around 80 degrees. Winds out of east 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy skies, although near 66. By Wednesday, areas of smoke again, mostly sunny high 83 degrees. Thursday, sunshine high 85. By Friday, mostly sunny
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So, took a few minutes to talk about ICE and the fact that they have $50,000 sign-on bonuses, while we are talking about limiting to 2 years the amount of time someone can stay in subsidized housing. People that are, working poor, making 7.25 an hour, can't afford marketplace or I'm sorry, market rate rent. But we got $50,000 to give as a sign on bonus to individuals to help round up people that are not criminals in this country, other than the original offense of being here in the country illegally. But we have a process for that. So instead of shoring up the immigration process, we are now making it harder. And did you also hear that Donald Trump is planning to put a $15,000 basically tariff on people coming into the United States seeking a certain type of a visa? If they come from states, or I'm sorry, countries that have a history of folks overstaying their visas, that you got to put up $15,000 in order to be able to get into the U.S. if you're approved through all the other measures for that visa. How many people can do that? How many people will be able to do that? So, like, we are setting up this country. Our tourism numbers are down. There are American citizens who are complaining about having left the country and having a longer wait time to get back into the country. If you are of a certain background, certain race, people are noticing longer wait times as American citizens to get back into their own country. We are setting up a continued situation of isolation and making us the place where people don't want to be bothered, because you don't know how you're going to get treated and handled when you come here. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, how you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
Yeah, it's a heavy subject, concerning that idiot up in the White House. But my main thing about calling, I heard that, I don't know if it's true or not, that lightning struck the top of the White House and blew it off.
But wait, can you turn your radio down a little bit? We getting feedback, bro.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we good.
Yes, like I was saying, that idiot up in the White House, he's doing a lot of things as far as turning this country upside down. But my main reason why I'm calling this morning, did you hear about lightning struck the top of the White House and tore it up?
No, where'd you see that at?
Yeah, I heard this from a friend of mine yesterday. He said they had on the news that the lightning struck the top of the White House and tore it up.
No. So let me do this. So back in 2022, there was a lightning strike near the White House. So what I just pulled up while you were talking is that there's an AI video that is out there falsely showing lightning striking at the White House that's been circulating since February 7th of this year. So yeah, so you gotta be careful about what we hear. I'm glad you brought it up. And people mentioning stuff, but yeah, the one that I'm hearing about is a fake post. It's AI generated and artificial intelligence, created this image, and so it's not real. So because I listen to the news all day, watch all night, at least on a national level, and I hadn't heard anything at all like that.
Wow, that's when I don't like this AI. To me, that's a demonic system because it's just doing everything, and that people, it's out of control where people try to do things, to stop it.
No, it's definitely, it has its ups and its downs. It certainly can be dangerous if in the wrong hands, and if you're trying to do send out false information, false narratives. But do what you just did. Put it out there, ask the questions. You can do your own Google searches. And if this is not showing up in major news feeds, then it's a problem with the story. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you, bruh. Appreciate you. Okay. I had mentioned kids going back to school, and I meant to bring this up. And I'm interested because we got some folks in here of different age ranges in the studio. When you were in school, did any of you have to pass the president's fitness test?
Yes. Yeah.
So Clark, you immediately yes. Debo, yes.
Yep, you had to climb the rope all the way to the top. Yeah, I used to do all. Now that was a week of. I used to call it a week of torture because I hated that because it was a week of like fitness. Like you had to climb the rope to the top. You had to do you had to do all this crazy stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the question: benefit or no benefit?
I think it was a benefit for me. I think it was a benefit because one, it helped you as far as like stamina, um, balance, um, just your whole strength thing because you have to have strength to go all the way up to the top of the rope and hit that flag or whatever that was at the top and come down. Yeah, so it was and it really in the long run, if you look at it now, it teach you or it taught me discipline because you got to have a disciplined mindset to actually make it through those tests, whatever that they put in front of you. So yeah, it was beneficial to
None
me.
whatsoever.
So you say no benefit?
Well, that's because Debo didn't apply it. Like, see, I mean, for me, I played sports too, so I was on the football and the basketball team. So all of that, even though, with speed and coordination and all of that, yeah.
So let me just say, I remember it. I remember, having to do it. And people originally talked about that JFK started this, but it actually goes back to Dwight Eisenhower because Dwight Eisenhower, former military, was concerned that as America was in and out of these different wars and skirmishes and, battles, that many of the soldiers that were coming in were not physically fit. So this had nothing to do with caring about the overall health and wellness of America's children. It was about if we go to war and we got to draft people, many of the people that we're going to be tapping the draft are not physically fit to even go to war. Because if you think about the draft, we pulling people up right away. We need you to go through this 6 weeks training, basic, whatever, how long basic training is, and get you deployed to the field right away. So I just, want to say that because a lot of us don't know that this was never about physical fitness in terms of overall general health. This was about the ability of soldiers to be physically fit and ready to go to battle quickly. So that's one thing.
I doubt that our physical education teachers even knew what it was about.
I'm telling you, but John F. Kennedy picks up on it and he institutes it as well. But I just that's one thing I just want to say. Some of this was game. It was not about people caring about whether or not you were gonna have incorporate exercise into your life and you were going to, do better, be better. This was about military fitness and military preparedness. So that's one thing when we talk about it. But then how you got the fat wide booty president trying to tell other people about being physically fit? Like that part is so irritating to me. The man who admits he eat more McDonald's than Ronald. How you got wide booty talking about somebody else needs to be physically fit? Donald Trump don't look like he done worked out a day in his life. Like the irony of it all is so, or the not the irony, but the hypocrisy of it all is Joe Biden, for whatever you want to say about him cognitively, was physically in better shape than Donald Trump probably ever has been. Even at 80, or however old Joe Biden was. He might have been slowing down because of his age, but Joe Biden still jogged. When, other than playing golf, what physical activity does the president of the United States do right now? Barack Obama jogged, played basketball, clearly physically fit. Bill Clinton did his little jog. I think it was more for show, but did his little jog. What does Donald Trump do that you care about the physical fitness? So I don't care if you got housing. I don't care if you got insurance. I don't care if you got access to college. I don't care if you eating because we cutting SNAP benefits. I don't care about none of that, but I care about your physical fitness. Do y'all see when people say that phrase, stop playing in my face? Yeah, this is all nonsense. This is all nonsense. And let me be clear. If you can't pass the physical fitness test, ain't nothing going to happen to you. It's not going to stop you from graduating. It's not going to do anything, other than your personal, you couldn't pass it. Now, with all that being said, are we in trouble health-wise with our children today? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Because you got kids who spend hours playing video games and barely any time playing outside. Barely any time doing physical activity, hiking, fishing, sports. We have shifted dramatically. The more technology and advances we've made, more technological advances we've made, the less physically active our children become. Before, we had to get up and go to the library. When you went to the library, you had to walk around and look for your materials, search for your books, go pick them up, come back home, walk to the library. Now I can sit on my phone and Google anything I want to know. I don't never have to step foot in the library again if I really don't want to. Just one example of how technology has changed our level of activity. But I just want to be clear that while I know there is a reason that we need to be encouraging physical fitness, I can't accept it coming from this dude. Because don't tell me you worried about me being healthy when you don't care if I got some place to stay, if I can go see a doctor, if I got food, if I can be properly educated. The two just don't line up. We got a caller. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You were saying about they were drafting people for what purpose?
So I was saying that the physical fitness test that the president, JFK, is most often associated with starting that, the president's physical fitness, test. But it really goes back to Dwight Eisenhower, who was more concerned that when they were looking at drafting people into the military, that many of the people coming into the military were not in good physical shape.
That's correct. And there was other things going on at that time, had to do with unemployment. And they were trying to get rid of some people. When I went through Fort Wayne in Detroit, the people were coming in having drank washing powder and what have you, failed the test. They passed them anyway. They sent people to basic training for 4 weeks, and then they were shipped to the front lines wherever we were fighting at the time. They were doing that basically to eliminate population. Those are things people don't talk about. And a lot of those in Detroit and other cities, they were herding up people who were unemployed and on welfare and what have you, and they were shipping them off.
So wait, Coach, back up for a second. So when you say, like they were actively recruiting in these areas to get them in, help frame that out for me one more time. Say that again.
Yes. There was a high unemployment during that time in the factories.
Okay.
Especially around the auto industry. And there were a lot of people on welfare, men and women. And they hated the fact that men were getting welfare at all. And when they had skirmishes in other parts of the world, they started hoarding people into the military to get rid of them. They were going through, people were taking tests. A lot of guys playing football and what have you in high school wanting to go to college, but didn't have no money. So they said, oh, you can come in the military. And when you come back from military, you can go to college for free. They knew they weren't going to come back. I went to a high school that had 2,600 kids, and on Memorial Day one year, they had pictures about 1 inch each of people who died fighting for the United States. Over 300 of those people were my classmates. Hello?
I got you.
So there's a whole lot more to that story than what they're talking about physical fitness. I coached high school sports for 52 years. Most of the kids that come out for sports are in total disarray as far as physical fitness because nobody asks them or makes them do anything. Physical ed in high school now is horrible.
All right. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I mean, like I said, I know based on what I see and what these kids are doing, it is definitely not. It doesn't in any way compare to what we were doing when we were in school. Whether it's the frequency, the intensity, or what's happening, we didn't have no ability to opt out of nothing unless you had a medical or reason for that. Our plate always a lot to get to. Somebody said the president's fitness test. I did it under Clinton. Benefits great. Trump wouldn't be able to pass it. I'm gonna wrap the show for today. I will have the list of all of those back to school events ready to go for you all tomorrow, and a couple of other big ticket things I want to get to. But thank you for everybody that made the show go today. Thank you to the bros in the studio and the callers. Sam, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.